杀我，我天圣脚必反。
将那狐狸和狮子拿下，带回大理寺。
皇帝也在圣教安插了眼线。
按律，满门抄。
Hello guys, how's everyone doing? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're checking out the Tales of Herding Gods episode 59 spoiler. Alright then, let's jump straight into the story. Lingshu's face kept shifting, and honestly, yeah, Kinmu had nailed exactly what he was worried about. See, Gulin Wan wasn't just some random official. He used to teach the Crown Prince back when the prince was a kid, and the Crown Prince? Older, higher rank, already sitting way above Ling Yushu. If royalty and commoners are worlds apart, then a crown prince and an imperial prince, man, that gap is even bigger. So yeah, Gulin Wan wasn't gonna show him any mercy. In fact, the guy might enjoy making things hard. And now, Yushu could fully confirm it. I won't interfere with whatever's going on between you and Gulin Wan, he finally said, after thinking it through. But be careful. The way he does things, he's nothing like the old Grand Chancellor. The man has zero long-term vision. Kinmu just nodded, totally calm. It's fine. Worst he'll do is make trouble. He won't dare push too far. And Yushu just stared at him. Like, really? Where was this confidence coming from? Then a thought hit him hard. Wait, Seven Sister. Could the two of them... Oh no. If Kinmu actually becomes the Emperor's son-in-law, then yeah, the guy really wouldn't have to fear Gulin Wan at all. Yushi stayed quiet for a bit before speaking again. I'm planning to leave Imperial College soon. Head to the borders, lead the troops. I'm already the general of Roman cavalry, and it's about time I took command. But I'm worried about Seventh Sister. Kinmu smiled, all reassuring. Don't worry, Second Prince, I'm here. And Yushu's eye twitched. Yeah, that's exactly what worries me. After chatting for a bit, Kinmu stood up and said, I just got back from a trip and haven't even put my luggage down. I should head back to Scholar's residence. Yushu walked him out from Royalty's Park. After a moment of silence, he looked at Ling Yushu. Academician Kin, he doesn't think like a kid. He sees things clearly. He's definitely going to be someone important. And honestly, his words hit me pretty hard. Ling Yushu burst out laughing. Who says he's an adult? He doesn't know anything. He even calls me chubby. He's never said a single nice thing in his life. Yushu just shook his head. I'll write to father. I'm leaving Imperial College. I'm done being a scholar. And with Gulin Wan in charge, he's definitely not going to treat you well. If you can't stay here anymore, come find me at the borders. She nodded. Don't worry, second brother. If things get bad, I'll come. But for now, I want to keep cultivating under Chancellor Boshin. Yushu looked at her, completely understanding what she wasn't saying, but he didn't comment, just shook his head again. Meanwhile, Kinmu returned to Scholar's residence with the big old dragon Keelan lumbering behind them. Scholars around them watched with straight-up envy. Young QA ran up with a grin. Sister Fox, I finally earned enough money. Can I get my clothes back? Hoolinger grabbed the coin pouch, weighed it casually, then nodded. Wait here. Young QA sighed of relief. From inside the house, Hoolinger's voice rang out. Anyone who owes me money, bring it now and redeem your certificates. A few miserable-looking scholars showed up almost immediately. Hoolingers happily handed their certificates back. Next time young master beats you up, I'll give you 20% off. One scholar shook his head. He's an imperial academician now, a rank 6, official. Who dare fight him?
Hoolinger froze for a second, then spun toward Kinmu like she'd just seen a disaster unfold. Young master, we're doomed. Our whole income is gone. And look at this guy. He eats more than all of us combined. We can't afford him anymore. Behind her, the dragon Keelan shrank his head down, mumbling, I mean, a liter of Scarlet Fire pills a day is okay. Just something to eat, you know? And I swear, the way he said that, it was the exact tone of someone who knows he's absolutely the problem. Kinmu just patted him like a stressed-out dad. Relax, I'll take care of you. Actually, do you have any saliva? Give me a bottle. Maybe I can sell it. Yeah, only Kinmu would look at dragon spit and think business opportunity. Linger rushed off, came back with a jade bottle, and they collected the saliva like it was liquid gold. Kinmu packed it away carefully, told them both to stay home, and headed straight to the Hall of Supreme Healing. The moment he walked in, a group of old imperial physicians perked up like kids seeing their favorite grandkid. "Young divine physician, you're finally back. So, what's today? An anesthetic? Poison? If it's poison, please warn us first." Kinmu greeted them politely and shook his head. "Not today. I'm here to test a medicine." Then he pulled out the little jade bottle, and wow, every one of those imperial physicians went pale. Imperial Physician Yu actually trembled as he asked, I know that bottle. Another anesthetic? Nope, Kinmu said casually. A healing panacea. Before anyone could even respond, Imperial Physician Yu whipped out a knife, hesitated for half a second, then straight up sliced Imperial Physician Ding's arm open. "Hey!" Ding screamed, ready to explode. But Kinmu dashed forward, uncorked the bottle, dabbed on the dragon saliva, and whoa! The wound closed instantly. No scar, no blood, nothing. The whole group rushed in, eyes wide. Imperial Physician Yu leaned in. "How strong is this? Can it reattach limbs?" Kinmu nodded. "Yeah, I once used it on someone who was cut in half at the waist. He said it so casually I had to blink, but the medicine only helps. You still have to reconnect nerves and tendons yourself." At that moment, Ding saw Yu lifting the knife again and yelled, "If you chop me again, I'll poison your whole family." Yu froze. And then, like a man desperately searching for a victim, he ran outside. A minute later, he dragged a terrified scholar into the hall. All the imperial physicians instantly panicked. "Old Yu, are you insane? You can't just chop a scholar's limbs off." The scholar heard that line, turned ghost white, and sprinted for the door. Yu tried to go after him, and then the physicians tackled him like he was a loose wild boar. "No. Absolutely not. He's an 8th ranking official. You'll get us all sued." Someone quickly suggested, "Taoist Ling Yun's crane fought Bashan's green cow last week and broke her leg. Go chop that one." Honestly, the logic was terrifying. But Yu didn't argue. He went out and dragged the crane back. Another physician clamped the crane's beak shut, the poor thing trembling like crazy, and Yu sliced her leg clean off. The room got real quiet. The physicians cleaned up the pieces. Kinmu stepped forward, skillfully rearranging bone, resetting joints, reconnecting nerves, like he was fixing a delicate puzzle. Then Taoist Ling Yun stormed in, ready to raise hell, but stopped dead when he saw what Kinmu was doing. He didn't say a word until the leg was fully reattached and the crane stood up, moving it like nothing happened. Then she thanked Kinmu in this clear little girl voice, and honestly, it was kind of adorable. Kinmu scribbled down a prescription. "Soak her leg in this. Helps the nerves wake up." Ling Yang took it, stunned. "You beat me in front of the emperor before and I held a grudge, but now I'm actually grateful." Kinmu smiled. "If you don't fight, how do you make friends?" Ling Yang paused, clearly unsure that line made any sense, but he let it go and left with his crane. Finally, Kinmu turned back to the imperial physicians. "So, this bottle, how much is it worth? I'm kinda tight on money right now." Their eyes lit up instantly. 10,000 great abundance coins, someone said. "This stuff is priceless for soldiers." Kinmu blinked. "That fast? Even quicker than Fanyan Yo robbing people?" "What?" "Nothing," Kinmu waved it off. "Anyway, I can make a bottle every day. You can sell it here for 10,000 gold. Sound good?" The imperial physicians looked at each other like kids who just discovered treasure. "That would be perfect," Yu said. Kinmu left satisfied. And the moment he was gone, the old imperial physicians huddled together, their white heads almost touching. Imperial physician Q whispered excitedly, "We're getting rich."
All the imperial physicians nodded like a bunch of old masterminds hatching a conspiracy. Old Yu was right. This tiny bottle? Just 10,000 gold? No way! We can easily sell it for double. Yeah, they were already dreaming of retirement villas. Kinmu stepped out of the Hall of Supreme Healing, heading back towards Scholar's residence, when suddenly, "Hey, little bald donkey, where's your Kakara staff?" "Well, that's one way to say hello." Kinmu stopped, turned around, and found an elder in purple staring him down. He smiled politely and bowed. Student greets Grand Chancellor Gu. Yup, Gun Lunan himself. And interestingly, his fancy first-rank robe was gone. He was dressed like a third-rank official now. A downgrade? Or maybe a disguise? Gun Lunan strutted forward with this smug smile. When you tricked my junior protector sword out of me, did you ever think you'd end up in my hands someday? Kinmu blinked innocently. Why would Grand Chancellor say something like that? Gun Lunan's smile sharpened. He held out his hand. Hand it over. And Kinmu, he just shook his head. I never return things I scam. I swear, the confidence this kid has? Gun Lunan's face twisted with fury. And boom! A wave of devil chi erupted around him, swirling like a storm. It shaped itself into a towering 1,000-foot devil god, shadowy, warped, and radiating pure murderous intent. Even the air felt like it was bending under the pressure. And Kinmu just smiled. Does Grand Chancellor need anything else? Gun Lunan snarled. If I wanted to kill you, I wouldn't have to do it myself. You also wouldn't dare. Before Kinmu could even finish, a calm voice cut through the air from behind Gun Lunan. If you touch my junior brother, the Emperor won't need to execute your whole family. I will do it myself. Gun Lunan froze. It felt like the temperature dropped. Chancellor Bashan stood behind him, chest out, twin knives clattering on his back. His expression cold, dead serious. Old Gu, you've been away for 200 years. Your skills are outdated. Need me to give you a little guidance? Gun Lunan burst into loud laughter and dissolved into devil chi, fleeing like a dark cloud. His voice echoed in the distance, dripping with mockery. Guidance? If it was Heaven Knife standing there, maybe I'd be afraid. Then, foosh! A blade aura ripped through the air, chasing the devil chi like a hunting hound. Kinmu watched the streak of knife chi vanish. Yeah, Chancellor Bashan loves fighting way too much. He must be thrilled. Shame I can't keep up. He sighed and headed back home. The moment he stepped through the door, Young master, we have a visitor. Huling Ring called out. Kinmu entered, and his steps faltered. A middle-aged man stood in the courtyard, hands behind his back. Eternal Peace Imperial Priester. The man turned slowly, eyes sharp and calm. The sacred cult master of Heavenly Saint Cult. Who knew he'd be Imperial College's first academician? Fascinating. Kinmu's heart jolted, but he composed himself as he walked forward. Imperial Priester didn't come here just to chat about interesting things, I assume. Huling Ring, serve tea. Huling Ring blinked. Young master, we don't have any tea, and you don't drink tea. Kinmu forced a smile. Then, prepare tea next time. Since we have none, watch the seats. Huling Ring frowned. Young master, we only have broken stools. What seats? Kinmu froze, embarrassed. Imperial Priester chuckled, waving it off. No need. I'll only speak with Cult Master for a moment. As Kinmu looked at him closely, something struck him. The Eternal Peace Imperial Priester wasn't overly handsome. His features were plain, simple, even. But the more you looked, the more right he seemed. Like his entire face had grown into wisdom. And those eyes, they held a quiet glow, sharp yet calm, as if they were always searching for the best path forward. Eyes that had seen everything and understood everything. Kinmu admired him deeply. This man had broken tradition, reshaped an empire, and changed the world through vision alone. Honestly, Eternal Peace Empire stood where it was today more because of him than the Emperor.
When you look at everything the Eternal Peace Imperial Preceptor has changed, it's wild. He tore apart the old walls between sects, rebuilt the army, modernized the government, created schools from the ground up, primary schools, colleges, even Imperial College. He basically handed the world a new operating system. Because of him, this entire era feels extraordinary. And Chin-Mu admires that. But admiration isn't the whole story, because the Imperial Preceptor, He's brilliant and ruthless. He once marched an army straight into great ruins. Sure, he backed off when things got rough, but that didn't mean he wouldn't try again. He crushed other nations, annexed them, uprooted every group that stood against him, and the worst part? He once pretended to be badly injured just to lure rebellious sects out of hiding, which ended with a whole lot of innocent people paying the price. This man wasn't perfect. Far from it. Qin Mu had never truly understood him. One moment, the man seemed big-hearted enough to hold the world, and the next, he'd turn around and drown another country in blood. He wasn't power-hungry, yet he had no hesitation in starting wars to eliminate opposition. To Qin Mu, the imperial preceptor was a walking contradiction. Fascinating, terrifying, impossible to predict. The imperial preceptor studied Qin Mu just as carefully. Then, with a surprisingly gentle tone, he said, "The sacred cult master of Heavenly Saint Cult, so young. I was shocked when I learned the cult master was actually an imperial academician. And you, why weren't you surprised to see me?" Qin Mu replied calmly, "Heavenly Saint Cult educates everyone regardless of background. It's normal for Imperial Preceptor to place people in our upper ranks. Of course you'd know who I am." The Imperial Preceptor nodded slightly. "That's the wisdom a cult master should have. But tell me, why didn't you panic? Aren't you afraid I came here to kill you?" Qin Mu shrugged lightly. "If you want to kill me, panicking won't help. If you don't kill me, Heavenly Saint Cult won't rebel. If you do kill me, Heavenly Saint Cult will definitely rebel. My life isn't worth more than the cult, so killing me doesn't help you." The Imperial Preceptor actually smiled at that. "Don't be so sure. Intelligence can turn into overconfidence, and overconfidence leads to mistakes. But you've piqued my interest. You said your cult wouldn't rebel. Why? We share the same philosophy. Why fight someone walking the same path?" The Imperial Preceptor tapped his chin. "I heard one of your first acts as cult master was creating the 361st Hall, the school hall? Yes, I'm copying you, reforming Heavenly Saint Cult. That cult was always more like an empire pretending to be a sect. If you imitate me too closely, won't Heavenly Saint Cult become an empire inside my empire?" He leaned forward slightly, eyes sharper now. "You said if the world is peaceful, you'll never rebel. But when chaos arrives, why not rise up? Take the throne, declare yourselves the orthodox rulers. The only reason you haven't rebelled now is because eternal peace itself has practically become Heavenly Saint Cult." Qin Mu chuckled softly. "Exactly. Why rebel? Against ourselves." The Imperial Preceptor's eyes glimmered with curiosity. "Then tell me, when will you rebel?" Qin Mu didn't hesitate. "When you betray the philosophy of Heavenly Saint Cult, when you stop walking the path of the saint, the day eternal peace strays from that path is the day Heavenly Saint Cult rises." The Imperial Preceptor gave him a long, piercing look. "What courage?" Qin Mu shook his head. "It's not courage. It's honesty. If I lied, you'd know immediately." The Imperial Preceptor walked over to the courtyard well, his steps deliberate and calm. "You came from great ruins with no real roots inside Heavenly Saint Cult. I originally planned to control you, let you use my power to rise within the cult." Qin Mu stepped up beside the Imperial Preceptor, just in time to hear him say, in this calm, terrifyingly matter-of-fact way, "People like you are dangerous. Anyone with their own ideas is dangerous. They're hard to convince. And honestly, sometimes it's easier to kill them than talk to them. And convincing an entire cult? Even worse. Tao Sect, Great Thunderclap Monastery, Heavenly Saint Cult, they all have their own philosophies. Those are nearly impossible to change." He paused, the air going strangely quiet. But luckily, Heavenly Saint Cult's philosophy doesn't conflict with eternal peace. Qin Mu raised a brow. So that meant Heavenly Saint Cult was safe for now? So naturally he asked, then what about Tao Sect and Great Thunderclap Monastery? That, the Imperial Preceptor said, his tone dropping into something serious and sharp, depends on whether they can truly achieve knowledge is action and action is knowledge. If they can perfectly practice what they preach, then yes, I will destroy them completely. If they cannot, they'll be allowed to exist. And wow, Shinmu felt a cold shiver crawl up his back. What about your philosophy, Imperial Preceptor? The man just shook his head. No need to listen to what I say. Watch what I do. My philosophy is in my actions. That is the meaning of knowledge is action and action is knowledge. Young sacred cult master, you still have a long road ahead. And Shinmu realized again how far below this man he still was. The Imperial Preceptor's knowledge, his insight, his understanding of the world, of paths, of divine arts, all of it towered above Shinmu like a mountain. He couldn't read this man, couldn't tell if he was enemy or ally. But right now, Shinmu had responsibilities. Heavenly Devil Cult's future wasn't going to plan itself. He took a breath and said carefully, "As for Eternal Peace's internal strife, Heavenly Saint Cult will support Imperial Preceptor fully." Then he added softly but firmly, "But I need a promise. When the rebellion ends, will Imperial Preceptor wipe out our cult after crossing the river?" The Imperial Preceptor turned his head and answered simply, "I won't." Shinmu gave him a questioning look. The Imperial Preceptor explained, "I need pressure. Keeping Heavenly Devil Cult alive means keeping a sword above my head. It reminds me not to make mistakes. If I become too powerful, even if I stray, who could stop me? I need a force capable of killing me if I lose my Tao heart. Heavenly Saint Cult is suitable. If you betray my philosophy, then I'll wait for you to end me." Shinmu actually froze. He wasn't scared often, but that line? Yeah, that shook him. The Imperial Preceptor turned and walked away. Shinmu let out a long, shaky breath. His whole body felt like a puffed-up hedgehog. There was only one thought in his mind. He's not human. I mean, humans have desires, selfishness, flaws, 7 emotions and 6 desires. The Imperial Preceptor had none. Nothing. No selfish intention. No weakness. Was he even mortal? Or was he a saint? Shinmu forced himself to shake off the thought. Right then, the dragon Keelan rumbled, "This person is terrifying. I could see him, but I couldn't feel him." Shinmu blinked. He hadn't used Green Heaven's eyes to look at the Imperial Preceptor. He'd missed his chance. He remembered looking at the village chief with Heaven's eyes and seeing a divine figure of immense power. What would he have seen if he'd looked at the Imperial Preceptor? Outside the residence, Shinfiyu bowed respectfully as the Imperial Preceptor approached. "Let's go," the Preceptor said. Feiyu followed. After a moment, the Imperial Preceptor murmured, "Grand Chancellor has good judgment." Feiyu blinked. "Gulinan? He's talented, but after 200 years in ice, he's probably outdated now." "I meant the other Grand Chancellor." The Imperial Preceptor glanced back and said, "Evelyn Lin and murder. The successor he chose is excellent, promising, but he's too much like me. It bothers me. Every time I look at him, I feel like killing him." Feiwei was completely lost. The Imperial Preceptor walked on, voice fading. "I hate looking in the mirror. The me in the mirror is never as perfect as the me I imagine." Back inside Scholar's residence, Shinmu finally relaxed. He needed to calm his mind. His unity technique was not yet complete, and after meeting that man, he needed clarity more than ever. He began pacing the courtyard, running through the movements, comparing them with the Overlord Body 3 elixir technique, checking the great educational Heavenly Devil scriptures over and over. Then, after a long while, he exhaled deeply. His pace quickened. Then suddenly, he sprinted, light as a shadow, swift as a flame. His body flickered across the mountain like streaks of light, executing the unity technique with unbelievable fluidity, like he was testing himself, chasing after something, or maybe trying to outrun the pressure the Imperial Preceptor had just placed on his heart.
Shinmu was sprinting like a streak of light across the mountain, but his mind was running even faster. That meeting with the Eternal Peace Imperial Preceptor
had flipped some switch in his brain. Even though they didn't talk for long, the impact was huge. Like touching a live wire. Meeting someone on that level, someone unmatched, someone operating on a whole different frequency, it does something to you. It pressures you, pushes you, forces you to level up. Kind of like standing next to a blazing furnace. You either melt or you get forged. And for Chin-Mu, just being in front of that legendary figure took courage. Talking to him, that required every ounce of intelligence he had. There's a reason people say talking to the brilliant makes you brilliant, and talking to the average drags you down. Chin-Mu wasn't about to waste the momentum. While he was still buzzing with that sharp, heightened state of mind, he channeled it straight into perfecting the unity technique. His sprint slowed. His breath steadied. Vital Qi surged through him, but this time not through the old pattern. He was circulating the new version, the improved Overlord Body 3 Elixir technique, the one he'd reshaped using insights from the great educational devil scriptures. Originally, the Overlord Body 3 Elixir technique was pure foundation, great for powering other techniques, but it didn't come with spells or divine arts. It wasn't like Thunderclap 8 Strikes, which needed Rulai's Mahayagya Sutra to reach full strength, or Moving Rain, which required Black Tortoise water control. It was like having a sword, but no sword arts. But the unity technique changed everything. Chin-Mu had taken the woodcutter's teaching from the stone cliff, cracked open the hidden potential inside the Overlord Body 3 Elixir technique, and awakened all the characteristics buried inside it. Now, this thing wasn't just a foundation anymore. It was a powerhouse. And suddenly, all its missing pieces, body refinement, divine arts, offensive strength, clicked into place. The Overlord Body 3 Elixir technique wasn't missing anything anymore. Using his improved version, Chin-Mu could unleash spells, sword moves, battle techniques, all with the same strength as the original signature techniques. This was what Tenville Devil Cult called the Unity Technique. Though, honestly, Chin-Mu had kind of taken a detour. Every cult master created their own Unity Technique on top of the scriptures. But Chin-Mu didn't just create one. He fused it into the Overlord Body 3 Elixir technique. Was that good? Bad? Wrong? Genius? He honestly wasn't sure. He only knew one thing. This was the technique he'd grown up with, the one he knew better than he knew his own heartbeat. So he built on that instinctively. And now, the technique finally had what it lacked: body refinement. The improved Overlord Body 3 Elixir technique absorbed the 9 Transformation 3 Conditions Mystery Technique, one of the strongest body refinement methods in the scriptures. Chin-Mu had always admired the body tempering techniques of the battle skill factions, but his masters never taught him. Old Ma, Butcher, Cripple, they left that part blank, so he stole it from the scriptures and wired it into his own system. And the moment he ran the new technique, he felt it. His vital qi flowed like a living river, flooding every part of his body: skin, muscle fibers, tendons, hair roots, even the bone marrow. Before, the path was simple, limited. Now, it spread everywhere, illuminating him from the inside. Not just body refinement, soul refinement, key refinement, a complete reconstruction from inside out. And as Chin-Mu shot through the mountain, flickering in and out like a streak of phantom light, you could tell something big just awakened inside him. Chin-Mu's sprint gradually slowed, then slowed more until he finally stopped completely. He stood there breathing hard, not because he was tired, but because he was thinking, really thinking. Every flaw in his technique, every subtle imbalance, every missing piece suddenly surfaced in his mind like ink spreading through water. The framework of his unity technique was solid. The bones were there. But the details? Yeah, those needed work. His body refinement and soul refinement were way behind, embarrassingly behind. And right now, his whole body felt like a desert that hadn't seen rain in half a year suddenly gulping down a monsoon. Everything was drinking in energy like crazy. 9 transformations, 3 conditions.
9 transformations of qi and body, 3 conditions of bones. Stage 1, bones close and connected. Stage 2, body becomes iron. Stage 3, body becomes a mountain. And Qin Mu, he was barely finishing stage 1. Time passed without him noticing. Half a day gone in a blink, and suddenly he found himself in front of the floor of heavenly records. A secretary walked by, took one look at him, and freaked out. "Academician Qin, you need to rest right now or you're not going to live much longer." Qin Mu frowned. What was that supposed to? A gust of wind hit him and whoa! The world spun! He collapsed. Crap! He lifted his hands and froze. His arms were thin, not I skipped lunch thin, firewood thin. He touched his cheek, skin tight against bone. His once tight clothes now hung loose. In just 4 hours, he'd turned into a walking skeleton. His corporeal energy was gone, completely emptied. And worse than that, when he ran the Overlord Body 3 elixir technique, the rate of exhaustion actually sped up. The faster he cultivated, the faster he died. One wrong move, and he would already be a dried-up corpse on the ground. The cultivation speed, it's too fast, Qin Mu realized, heart pounding. Body refinement burns energy from the body itself. If I don't replenish it, I'm basically killing myself. 5 elements realm or not, even with his dense cultivation, he didn't last 4 hours. 4 hours! He stopped the technique immediately and darted towards Scholar's residence. No time to explain, no time to think. He burst into his room, grabbed what money he had, and sprinted back to Imperial College like a starving beggar with a mission. The little fox and the dragon Qilin were left blinking in confusion as he flew past. He bought the herbs he needed and didn't even bother walking home. He refined the medicine on the way back. Hands moving fast, sparks flying, pill fragrance filling the air. It was like watching a living human furnace. Before he even reached home, he had a whole furnace of pills ready. Each pill hummed with a faint Buddha chant, like a little monk was sitting inside praying. The second they cooled, Qin Mu opened his mouth and inhaled all of them in one go. Then he pushed the medicinal energy into motion while rushing back into the courtyard and collapsed right at the door. Hu Lianger screamed and bolted towards him. The last thing Qin Mu saw before blacking out was her face rushing into view. "Catalyze the medicine! Help me!" And then, darkness. When he woke up, groggy, weak, but alive, he immediately felt the medicinal energy swirling through him, warm, fierce, like soaking in a furnace of molten metal. He let out a shaky breath. Thank heavens! If he hadn't refined the pills in time, he would have died. No chance, no workaround. Dead. The unity technique is powerful but terrifying, he thought. If I don't replenish what it burns, it'll burn me out. He stared at the ceiling. If I try to fix this technique, it'll take forever. Maybe I should stop cultivating it. Hu Lianger hovered beside him, eyes red and round. Outside the window, the dragon Qilin tried shoving his huge head in to check on him, but only one eye fit through, the rest squished awkwardly against the wall. Qin Mu sat up slowly. He'd been placed on the bed. Hu Lianger must have carried him with her demon wind. "I'm okay," he said gently. "Once the medicinal energy settles, I'll recover." Hu Lianger sighed in relief. "You scared me to death. You became so skinny so fast. When you collapsed, I thought you wouldn't get up again." Qin Mu kept guiding the medicinal warmth through his body. His spirit was stable now, but his body was still horrifyingly empty, like a flying ship running out of fuel mid-air. It falls, it crashes, it shatters. That was him today.
Qin Mu pushed himself up, still looking like a starved skeleton, and asked weakly, "Linger, anything to eat? I'm really hungry." Before Hu Linger could answer, a giant eyeball squeezed itself through the window. The dragon Qilin! His pupils spun like he just heard the greatest news of his life. Does young master want to eat the green bull? He sounded way too excited about that. Then, as if he remembered something even better, he added, "There's a wild bull in the back mountain. How about I catch it and roast it for young master?" Yeah, once this guy's belly wasn't empty, he turned into the pettiest creature alive. His grudge against the green bull was legendary. Hu Linger chuckled. "Please wait, young master. Big dragon, let's get food." And just like that, she zipped out of the room like a puff of smoke, dragging the dragon killin with her as they disappeared from Scholar's residence. The dragon killin blinked. "Sister Linger, where are we getting food?" Hu Linger's eyes flashed. "You know how to swim, right? There are huge fish in Ye Dragon Lake, several yards long. I've been eyeing them for a long time." The dragon killing's whole face lit up. "Oh, I've eyed them too, but I didn't dare move without Old Master's order. Don't worry, I'm great at swimming. I can stay underwater for days without coming up." Hu Linger practically bounced with excitement as they hurried toward Ye Dragon Lake. On the other side of the lake, a Taoist was calmly practicing, until he spotted the fox and the killin charging toward the water. He squinted. He frowned. He opened his mouth to ask something. Then, the dragon killin leapt into the lake with a massive splash. The Taoist's face drained of color. He yelled horrified, "Hey, lion, you can't bathe in the lake! Fox, stop that lion!" But Hu Linger was already waving frantically. "Big dragon, faster, faster!" And just like that, the lake exploded into chaos. So guys, that was the episode 58 spoiler. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.